Perfect.
Okay. Listen, you guys want the rant? All right, so we just got finished watching the Rogue Company Championship Series qualifier number 2 for the summer series, right? And I was one of the observers, right? Do you guys understand that I don't think you guys truly understand that when you observe the game, it's literally the most boring job in the world, right? So when you load into a custom game, there's 4 people on each team. There's only 2 spectator slots. So only 2 observers can be in there at once, which we were. We had 2 observers today, right? And it's better with 2 observers for many reasons, because the production can like have 2 different POVs at the same time. But it's also much easier because when you're in the spectator client, if you hit tab, it shows the scoreboard, just like when you're in the actual game as a player, right? To swap camera views, you just left click and right click. That's literally all it is. Now, some people might say, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. Let me pull something up. Okay? Because it doesn't sound too bad until you realize how broken it is, right?
There's so much potential.
So you see how you have Dahlia, Scorch, Ronin, Dahlia, Glimpse in this example, right? So let's say I'm observing this Dahlia here on the blue side. Now, one would think, okay, if you left click, it'll either go to Scorch or maybe it'll go back to the other team, right? So for instance, let's say we left click and it goes to Scorch next. To make this make sense, you can click the same button again, left click, and it will not take you to Ronin, for example. It goes out of order. Every single game, the order is random, right? So you could go Dahlia blue, Ronin red, Dahlia red, Scorch, Glimpse, Ronin. Like, it can be that random, okay? Now imagine when it's 4v4, it's even worse, okay? That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is when someone dies, the order is rearranged randomly again every time someone dies. So multiple people dying messes up the order. Eventually, when you get to like 1v1, it's easy. You can right click or left click, doesn't matter. It's only going to swap between the 2 people that are alive, right? The other problem is that that's literally all we can see, bro. That's all we can see, okay? So a few months ago, probably more like a year ago now, we had one of the 10Ks were coming up, and it was one of the ones before the first LAN event in January. And they were like, they messaged us in a Discord and said, if you have any questions, concerns, ideas, anything that you think could improve the spectator for the esports side of things, now is the time. And that was like the productions director was telling the casters that, okay? This was the director opened a Discord group chat with all of the talent and said, They just gave me a direct line and asked for your input. Now is the time. Okay? Now here I thought, like, you know, Rome is like buddy with Scott and all the other devs, whatever. And he was like, they understand what they did wrong with Paladins and Smite, and that this is different. And I was like, okay, you know what? I don't believe that, but I'm gonna force myself to believe that. And the only other time where they opened up a direct line to me, amongst other talent, to say what's wrong with Spectator, I didn't really go balls deep with them because I was like, you know what? I don't think they're gonna change anything. But you remember when everyone on the map for the Spectator, you had X-ray vision the entire time? Like, you could see everyone's outline of their character on the map all the time, right? So we never, like, as casters and viewers, we never know who truly got revealed by a reveal ability. This is like when Seeker first got released, right? So we never really knew who was being revealed during reveal effects because everyone was just permanently revealed for us. So I was like, you know what? I told them that is a bad idea, and they changed it. And so, like, that gave me a little glimmer of hope. So I said, okay, I know all the other casters are just gonna like type stuff in here, and I know Hirez, being a game developer, are probably gonna read this Discord chat one time. So I told the director who had the direct line for this instance, I said, can I give you a Google document? And they're like, yes, that would be, they would love that. That's the best case scenario for them. So I said, okay. So I made one and I opened it up. Now I opened this today at 7:57 to make sure this was the correct one. But I'm going to show you something. Last edit was October 30th, 2021. Okay, that was the last time I edited this. I probably just like changed one word. If you go to this was created on October 4th, 2021. Okay? October 4th is when I made this. We're going to see if any of these changes have come into the game, right? I even included photos in this motherfucker. All right? So the first thing I put was, I wrote everything down like on a piece of paper, and I said, okay, what order should I put these in? Like importance, right? Okay. Rogue POV hotkeys. Probably one of the most important key features that should be first is the ability for the spectator to choose which rogue to spectate at any given moment. 8 rogues, 8 hotkeys using the numpad, just like how Paladins and Smite did. No matter which way I do it myself, it seems weird. Paladins had 10 players, so 0 through 4 were the blue team and 5 through 9 were the red team. So something similar would be easiest, right? This would give esports, the comp side of Rogue Company, infinite value. You can switch to any POV on the dot, bro, whenever you want, right? Back and forth, whatever. Post-game scoreboard, because right now you gotta like randomly click. Post-game scoreboard is another thing, right? So once a game has finished, the spectator is quickly kicked back to the main menu. The players are sent to the post-game screen showing the game stats for each player. Instead, maybe the spectator could be sent to the same screen as well, so the broadcast can show the post-game stats and the casters can have more information to use in analysis as in the player's stats, right? I might have to close my window. Let me close my window. Okay, so the next thing, those were like the 2 most important things that other people have probably picked up on, right? Now we've got this one, the spectator replay using match ID, right? Every time you play a match, in the top right corner, there's a match ID. A lot of people who have been asked for match IDs to like from like high-res radar or other devs, they understand where it is on the screen, okay? So another key feature that Paladin's spectator client had was the ability to rewatch games as a spectator using the match IDs, right? So this works even outside of comp, right? Because we had a text chat in Paladins in the bottom left. So usually I would type /spectate and then the player name, or you can type, right? If you do that in the lobby chat to spectate a game live, if you type /replay and then the match ID number in the lobby chat, you could rewatch as a spectator an entire game. So like all the games that we saw in the broadcast on the RCCS, if we have one of those match IDs, we would just put /replay and we would be able to rewatch those games in real time from the very beginning. Every single round, we could be a spectator, swap POVs, and we could pause and unpause the game, right? Now, I realized this would be done differently, but I thought maybe a system could be added in either the customs menu or somewhere else where you can choose to rewatch games with the proper match ID, right? This feature could be utilized in many ways as well, I stated. I mean, at the time, Skillshare was the studio doing the broadcast. So I said, could go back and grab any content needed. You know, players can content grab, right? So if players want to create montages, replays, teams could go back and rewatch from one player's POV for better caster breakdowns, analysis, future broadcasts, future content. Teams could study other teams by doing this. Players could VOD review themselves by watching their perspective the entire time, right? And cheaters. This could help investigate cheaters further and more precisely. That's one of the problems we have with the comp scene now, is that so many people don't want to play because they either A, don't cheat and have been accused of cheating, or 2, have been scared because they don't want to be accused of cheating and go through all of that hassle, right? So you can do this more precisely by checking for cheaters. And I certainly think a replay system's already like built in at some point, because when they ask you for a match ID, like the devs and stuff, they're rewatching those games. So just add that into the live client for us, right? Okay, so the next one has a picture. They still haven't fixed this. So when we had it where everyone on the map was revealed all the time, right? So like we would see classes outline, we'd see all these people's outlines. They're revealed right now. We would see their outlines. When that was in the spectator client, if you were on the blue team, your health bar would be blue instead of red. Now, after they fixed the reveal problem, everyone's health bar is red and only their little icon is blue. Yes, I understand who's on what team, right? And it's a lot easier now because we don't have mirrored rogues. So, you know, if you see a Dallas, you know that Dallas is on the blue team because you can't have a Dallas on a red team at the same time anymore, right? So maybe that one's not as priority as it was before because we don't have mirrored comps, but it was very hard to distinguish the players apart quickly, especially in respawn game modes like Strikeout and King of the Hill. Maybe that'll happen in Sabotage, maybe not. Again, it's a little bit different now that we know the same rogue cannot be in the game on both teams, right? Okay, here's another one. The mini-map / skybox POV. Both of these would increase the competitive broadcast tenfold, right? So we had a sky cam or a free cam in Paladins, but it was never used in the esports scene, which is fine if it isn't included in Rogue, considering I would imagine it may cause some breaks or bugs if implemented. But it could be possible to add a type of mini-map hotkey for the spectator to display the mini-map on screen for casters to hit stronger talking points on demolition setups. Now, there is a photo of an example. I gave 2 different ways you could do this. Now, there is also another large problem with if they were to do this. When you watch the broadcast, no matter who you're spectating, you will notice that the red team never shows up on the mini-map until they shoot their guns. Because when you're in the spectator client, it only reads as if you are a blue team member. So you don't see the red arrows on the mini map, but you see the blue arrows the entire time, right? So in order to get the mini map to work properly, you would need to make sure that the red team's icons are showing up 24/7, just like the blue teams, right? Another problem is that this may look too cluttered. That's because you can eliminate this entire corner. We don't need to know this, right? And we'll get to that in a little bit, because it's like, well, then how would you know what player you're spectating? Because it tells you their name right there. I don't need to see their banner. I don't need to see you are spectating. I don't need to see this, right? I don't need to see any of this, okay? Now, here's another. I just made two different options, okay? You could technically show this on the stream right now in Spectator, but there's a large problem with that. You'll have to hit tab to show scoreboard and then manually swap over to the mini map. And again, that's going to block out everything else, because it's just like the way the scoreboard blocks that out. Like it fades it, blurs it, whatever. So it wouldn't look as crisp and as clean as these. And also, it only shows the blue team. Now, the next thing is enhanced on-screen information. This is like a super extra. That's why I kind of put it towards the bottom of the list here. But still, I think this would make it a lot better. And also, you could talk. There's so many different talking points when you involve this kind of information. Not just for the casters during the game, but also for the analyst desk post and pre-game, right? And I think this would also bring out a lot of personality in the players, because then you really get to see their differentials in their play styles, right? So, enhanced on-screen information, right? Information is key. And when casters have even more of it, the broadcast can get more entertaining as well as more in-depth and educational. Players and viewers who watch can also dive deeper into the play. For example, now with weapon mastery, we touch on the fact that different players are using different weapons outside of the ones the rogues are given in their respective kits. So adding more hotkeys, F1 through F8, for example, because in Paladins and Smite, F1 through F8 are hotkeys to bring up different stat boxes. For the spectator to show the feed or info could be a massive addition. Below are some example concepts I created a few months ago, but still can be applied perfectly. Note, you can also see this would add more things to the screen. I've removed the player's name and banner in the top right and placed the name below the health bar, right? So I put these pictures here, but I'm going to show you the bigger, better version over here. It's the same thing, but it's bigger for you. So the way this looks, need to go to this big old folder I got down here. Okay, so we have the rogue loadout first, right? So you can see that on the left side, you have this box. So let's say this is F1. First off, you need to realize that on the bottom, below Trench's health bar, is the player name. We don't need to see the player name in the top right. Look how clean it is when you delete all of that, right? There's not much that goes on over here, but just for the sake of cleaning it up, right? Also, this would need to be changed, which, you know, things have already been done. The score would go here, and then you would put this right next to it here, or maybe underneath, because then the way I have it here, I totally forgot that you can't see who has the bomb and demolition. But ignore that part for right now. So right here on the left side, you'll see, let's say, for example, I am the spectator, the observer, and I hit F1. When you hit F1, we can see that this Trench is using the KA-30. This is back when he had tear gas and trophies. So he's got his double upgraded, tear gas, double upgraded trophies. He's got a KA-30 that's been updated twice. His pistol's upgraded once. And then each rogue has 6 perks to choose from. He has bought armor, helping hand, and tracker rounds, right? So the 3 that are that have the outline around them means that he bought them, right? So now we can clearly see what this trench has been using his money for. Okay? The next one would be an example of the stat charts, which we can do differently as well. This one chart could be recycled for different aspects, right? So this one in this example says money, okay? So it shows you all 8 rogues. Blue means they're on the blue team, obviously, and red means they're on the red team, right? So you can see here that Scorch is top of the lobby. She's fragging out. She's getting assists, doing the most damage, whatever it may be. She has $95,500, right? This is before the money, the econ changes as well. So this is just an example so that there's something there for you to visually see, right? So being able to see a player's total money as well as how much they haven't spent each round is important, since we can talk about what they can purchase and maybe what they are planning to purchase moving forward, right? So you can see how much money they're spending. There's another thing that you can do with this same chart. You can put their damage, right? So you can have a chart showing each member's damage instead of bringing up that entire scoreboard again. Because remember, if you bring up that scoreboard, you're blocking everything. So there could be a team fight happening. The bomb plant could be happening. They could be pushing in. The casters don't have to talk about the chart that's popping up, but you could just pop it up for 5-10 seconds, take it down, right? But you could put a damage chart, kills chart, assist chart, deaths chart, money. There's how many bomb plants each rogue has done, how many defuses each rogue has done, revives. There's so many different things you can do with just that chart right there. So then the next one is this one, which just shows pistols and primaries, but it pops up on each side because you're showing each team. So on the left side, you have the blue team, obviously, and on the right side, you have the red team, and you can see their upgrades, what guns they're using, things like that. And then you can do the same thing, but with their perks only, and you can see what perks they're buying. So like on the right side, you see Phantom has Life Drain and Stalker. That's not they don't all have the same perks anymore, but you get the idea, right? So all of these screens I showed you, F1, F2, F3, F4, things like that. In Paladins, all these things exist, right? All of these things exist. There's Ronan. So, if you want to be able to increase your esports tenfold, bro, it's simple things like this, right? So there's more things, right? There's lobby setup for customs, being able to add the team names in the lobby beforehand. So this would actually eliminate a lot of the graphics problems. You can get rid of the graphics with the team names and the map counts, and if it's able to be implemented in the custom lobby where the spectator can set up, okay, this is Black Hand, this is Right Turtle, then the game, when the score goes off of the screen, it'll take that off of the screen, right? Like in Call of Duty, in customs, you can do this. You can even set the team's colors to whatever colors you want. And then like when it says, so-and-so wins the round or whatever, it shows their team name. If you want to get even more technical, Call of Duty even allows you to like implement the team logos into it as well. We don't need to be able to do that here because, we don't have a lot of orgs or teams with logos, but just being able to do the team name and stuff and having it have the map count implemented into a custom lobby just makes it a lot easier for the production and makes it a lot cleaner for the viewers. The pause feature. So this is a simple request. It's in Paladins, it's in Smite. Hirez knows how to do this. The ability for players or the observer and spectator to pause the game if someone disconnects, giving them time to rejoin without a team needing to play out a round or worse, finishing an entire half down one member, right? This one, these next ones, I don't know if they have control over this. These weren't actually spectator like these weren't spectator things in the game, but to increase their viewership, which they can still do today, right? Because it's right here. So Twitch has an esports category and directory on the front page, and Rogue Company is not included, okay? I'm not sure if the actual Rogue Company channel can be included since they have patch note shows as well as community members on there from time to time. They don't have community members streaming on there anymore, which I don't know why. They should be 24/7. There should be Rogue partners streaming with like 4-hour blocks each. This is when we were doing CMG2. So to boost the game's online presence in Twitch, you can get it to where when you click the esports directory, you can currently scroll through a list of games that have esports events live at that moment, right? So if you go to Twitch's homepage, the front page of Twitch, and you click on that esports directory tab, it'll start to show you any esport that is live right now at that very moment, right? And then if there's an esport in the category that's not live, for example, like Apex and this one, is not live at the time it shows the most recent VOD to a previous esport event or tournament. And also on the other side of that, it shows any community players or community pros who are streaming at that moment as well, right? So live channels with esports and events like this was, you can see esports, this was Valorant at the time, right? So, or no, yeah, this was Valorant right here. So you can see this Valorant stream on esports TV. ESEA, Smite game was having their Smite tournaments at that time. There's all these tournaments and events happening, and they're on the live section once you hit esports, right? You scroll down a little bit more past the live section, and you'll see like Apex Legends on that, and they're not live. There's no live Apex esports tournaments happening at the moment I took this screenshot. But on the right side here, it says pros streaming live. Imperial How was live playing Apex at that moment. Timmy, Snipe Down, Nice Wig, Madness, No Cocoa Puffs. So imagine if Rogue Company's added to this. On the right-hand side, right now, you would, see things like, let's say Canny is streaming, Nash is streaming, Pixie is streaming, like those would show up there. Who's that is streaming. So again, there's ways to just simply come into work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And within 10, 15 minutes, you can increase the game's value as an esport by just getting yourself added to the esports category directory. Like, it's not that difficult, right? And all the spectator changes as well. This document was made in October of 2021. And the last edit, again, was October 30th. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, man.
Oh, hello there. It's Blue. I'm a terrible dancer, so ignore that version of me on the screen and listen to my voice when I say thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and of course, click on another video of mine. I heard you'll like those over there. They're pretty good.